Good morning once again, and welcome to the Hemet San Jacinto Student of the Month Breakfast. My name is Karina Zermino, and I sit on the Student of the Month Committee, and I'm also here this morning representing Altura Credit Union. The purpose of this program is to recognize and honor students for their character, love of learning, commitment to academics, in addition to their involvement in school and community activities, and their ability to overcome difficult life circumstances in a setting that honors God, our country, family, community, and free enterprise. So we will start with Hemet High School, Dr. Emily Shaw, principal, and her guest.
Good morning. Thank you so much for coming. Also, I'd like to, again, as we always do, thank the dignitaries and all of the community sponsors that make this event possible for us to recognize some of our amazing seniors. So when I asked for nominations, Mr. Walsh quickly nominated John Gonzalez and said that you really needed to hear his story. He said, I'll ask him if he wants to share. A couple hours later, I get a 1.5 page, single-spaced, 8-point font document through Google telling his story. And it really was quite impressive that he's able to accomplish what he's accomplished with some of the adversity that he's overcome. But when you talk to him, you'll also understand he's very unique and probably quite one of the most eccentric students we've ever nominated. He says, we asked, are you ready to talk today? He's like, I'm a public speaker. He said, I can talk all day. I told him he has 2 minutes. I told him not to believe what Karina said, so hopefully he'll respect that so you guys can get out of here before the Great American Shakeout, which is at 10:19. So with that, I'm going to introduce Mr. Walsh, who say why he nominated John, and then we'll let John share his story.
Eccentric, yeah, it's a perfect word. It's interesting. I love John. I've known him for quite a long time, from his sophomore year when he started his own comic book series where I was the hero of.
That's why you nominated him.
Exactly. To his affable nature, everything about this guy, you can't help but love him. He has overcome a lot of adversity, and you'd never know that talking to him. As a matter of fact, it was his peers that told me some hints of his story, and so I asked him, and he was very forward with it, but in 3 years, he'd never offered it on his own. He's the type of guy that you always see smiling, always being silly, always having a great attitude, and that's really why I nominated him. But on the flip side of things, he's also a tremendous student. He's in art history this year doing quite well, but he's also in his 3rd year of programming, which he's the only student in school who's done 3 consecutive years of programming. I'm pretty sure that's what he wants to do. No. It better be what he wants to do.
I'll be homeless, I'm sorry.
But without further ado, John Gonzalez.
That's a bit high. Am I loud enough? I hope I'm loud enough. Hi, I'm John Gonzalez. I'm going to say that for the 3rd time. When he said to share his story, I kind of thought he'd email it to somebody. And now I'm up here. So I'm just going to start. Okay, I was 6 years old when everything first started. Everything was pretty normal up until then. Then my dad came in, and I was like, oh, cool, this is my dad. And so we moved to this place. It's really far away. It's like 1,500 miles away from here. It's, tell me if you've been there. Kansas City, Missouri? Yeah? No? It's a pretty cool place. But we moved into the worst part. It was bad. It was bad. Like, things were getting worse and worse as the years went on. We go forward, we had a bit less money than last year. It got to the point where we were in this house, we couldn't afford air conditioning, we couldn't afford electricity, warm water. We were basically homeless by that point. But everything was just fine, because I was a huge mama's boy. I was like, oh, my mom's still here. I'd hug her all day. It was so fine. But then the worst day came. Oh, okay. So I go home one day, I'm like, oh, guys, where's mom? And my dad walks in, and he's like, oh, John, she's not coming back. She's been deported. I'm like, oh no. I wasn't that casual, but I did say, oh no. At some point, I'm pretty sure. I have a bad memory. And so, for me, it was a huge moment. It was a huge moment of truth. I could give up. I was so sure at the time nobody would blame me for giving up. We'd lost the house a month later. My dad had a huge alcohol problem. My mother was gone, and I was like, I wanted to give up. But luckily for me, I had chosen not to give up. I thought to myself, no. Everything's going to get better, and I can do this. I told myself that every single morning as I woke up and things got worse. And then one day, because right before my mother, like a week before my mother got deported, she had bought us this Xbox, and I loved it. I played it all day, every day. And then I got up and I thought to myself, I want to be a programmer. And so I went online. First language I learned was JavaScript. It took me a while to get it down, but after a little while I got it down. I never tried learning HTML5. But then I got an extremely lucky break. My dad gets up, and I don't know if he was really drunk or really sober, or if this decision he made was really stupid or really smart. Because he got in the car, he's like, everyone get in the car. And he just started driving. He never stopped. It was 24 hours straight that he drove. And when we finally stopped, we were in Hemet, California. I might want to drive back. And so I got out the car, and I thought to myself, because we had an apartment now that had warm water, I was like, oh my gosh, warm water, that's so nice, and all that junk. So I thought to myself, I'm going to work harder, more and more, and I'm probably going to get over this part of it soon, like get over what happened before. And I did. I'm pretty much over it by this point. And now I'm here. It feels nice. Hi. And goodbye.
So, where's your dad today?
Oh, he actually stopped drinking.
He did stop drinking.
He's working out, and he went to college too afterwards. I inspired him. He decided to go to college, and now he's a personal fitness trainer.
No, he did do that, and he's providing quite a much better life for John. That was in his 8-point font, 1.5-page document. But John, literally, where is your dad today?
Where's he today? He's in San
Why is he
Diego
not
right now in
here?
the car. Oh, he started driving because my brother recently graduated from Marine boot camp, and so I'm going to be heading there after this, maybe, or like tonight, maybe.
So the whole family's out
He
celebrating.
graduates tomorrow.
Graduating, his brother graduating from Marine boot camp. So we almost thought John wasn't going to make it today. But I'd like to introduce, would you like to introduce your friend?
Well, that's Mason. This is Mason.
Mason says right. Like I said, he's eccentric and unusual. Part of his charm. I'd like to now introduce Dr. Janice Jones from West Valley High School.
Good morning, and thank you for, again, having us here. Thank you to the sponsors and the dignitaries. It's already a great morning, so that was quite a story. From West Valley this month, we are honoring Aaron Wu, who was nominated by our science department. He also has his own story, as every student does in this room, and I'm just very proud to be introducing him. It's always humbling for me to stand up here and to honor students who have overcome things that sometimes I can't even imagine. I'm going to give most of my time over to the teacher and the students. So Mr. Matthews is the science teacher who nominated him, and he's going to say a few words about Aaron.
Good morning. I'm Mr. Matthews from West Valley High School. I teach AP Physics as well as I'm a teacher in the engineering program. Aaron really stuck out to us as he's very hardworking, and he's the only student in his senior class right now that's taken all 3 AP science courses that we offer and achieved passing scores on the first 2, AP Bio and AP Physics, which I had the honor of having him in class during that time. He has an interest in computer programming, so I encouraged him not only to take AP Chemistry with my fellow colleague this year, but to take the engineering program. So he went ahead and did that as well. I can't speak for his personal experiences, but I'm speaking from his academic experiences and his achievements. Aaron takes suggestion from teachers very well. For example, last year we received a invitation to attend the AP Readiness Program at UCR. Aaron was the first student to sign up, and since then we now have over 50 students attending the program from West Valley. And then this year, not only is Aaron taking on engineering and AP Chemistry, Aaron was one of the first students to sign up for the Solar Cup program sponsored by Eastern Municipal Water District here. Malia's right over there. And presented by Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. So basically, Aaron is a follower to great leadership. So I'm going to turn it over to Aaron with that in mind.
Hi, I'm Aaron Wu. Thank you so much for all of this. I'm absolutely honored that I've been chosen to be West Valley's Student of the Month. Even from a young age, my parents have instilled in me that hard work and discipline is a gateway to improve our lives. When they lived in China, neither of my parents ever had the educational opportunities that I do now. My parents have never had anything higher than minimum wage, and my father's even disabled. And so I want to make sure that I make them proud and do my best to get us to a higher standard of living. So as Mr. Matthews has said, I've taken any educational opportunities I've been given with as much gratitude as I can, even if there are so many struggles and obstacles ahead of me. I know that there are other students that have these struggles too. So if I'm at school, if I'm ever asked for help, I just can't say no.
Okay, so, little bloody nose, but he's fine. He's fine. He's going to go to the bathroom. His sister, who is also a West Valley graduate, is going to speak to us about Aaron for a moment. So, here we go.
Sorry, he's a little shy. So I'm his sister, as Ms. Jones just introduced. My mom is here for him, and our dad is not here today, so I'm in his place for them both, actually. Aaron is truly like a wonderful kid. He's so amazing. He'll come home, he'll go dive straight into his homework, and then all the way until it's time for bed. And it's not just academic subjects that he's into, that he goes beyond those, and every subjects that are beyond school. But I don't think he gives himself enough credit, and he was a little shy. I'm a little shy right now standing before all of you today. But I just want to say thank you all of you guys for the opportunities and these honors that you guys are presenting to these students. It's amazing. It's an incredible process too, to see all this happening. So thank you.
Okay, next up is Eric Dahlstrom and Talkowitz. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. Again, thank you to our dignitaries and our sponsors. We really appreciate this event. Today, I'm the most excited I've ever been standing up here. I went off script. I didn't allow a teacher to nominate a kid. This time, I nominated Joseph. I was having a bad day in my office, and I decided I was going to go up and try to fix the offense on our football team by creating a race with some students. And I met Joseph, and I said, "Joseph, you fast?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm fast. I'm probably the third fastest guy on the team." And then we started talking about his story, and I was so inspired that I told him, I'm going to nominate you for Student of the Month. I'm like, "You going to college?" He's like, "Yes." All these great things. And then I met him a few days later, and he told me more about his story. And it's absolutely amazing that he could just as easily be in juvenile hall that he is here today. And it's because of his hard work. It's because of the love that was given by Tara O'Malley and her staff at Alessandro. They helped save this student today. His mother here, without his mother, the love the mother they gave to Joseph, he would not be here today as well. Joseph is an amazing kid. He inspires me. It's hope that no matter how bleak a situation can be, Joseph started his junior year with 20 credits. And he's standing here today with a 3.5 GPA, and he's going on to college. So no matter how bleak it is, the story of hope is don't give up on those students. Keep fighting for them. Find a path for them to be successful. And Joseph is going to share his path because it's pretty amazing. And I'm super proud to stand next to him and call him a Talkwitz student. So Joseph.
Good morning. My name is Molly Otis. I teach at Talkwitz, obviously, and I've been in the Valley since 1990. So I've come across a lot of students. And this year I am really honored because when Mr. Dahlstrom came in my room and said, would you be interested in representing Joseph at the Student of the Month breakfast? It really touched my heart because I thought, wow, of all the students I've ever taught, Joseph, asked me to represent him. We were in the class, I teach English, and we were in the class about 3 weeks ago, and one of the assignments is I have the students write a UC response, a personal insight question. They answer it for the colleges. And he wrote his story, which he's going to tell you, and it was really touched my heart, and it's a blessing. And you'll see that he is hardworking, he's motivated, he never gives up, and he's a leader on and off the field. And he's the type of student that always comes in and asks, if he did the assignment correctly, if he can redo it, if necessary. And I'm just really touched by the fact he asked me to represent him. And so thank you, Joseph, and I'm very proud of this young man.
Can you hear me? All right. Hi, everybody. My story, me, I'm not like the kids who spoke before. They're much better than me because their high school life, can you still hear me? All right. Their high school life was much better. I wasn't always a good student. I was in the AP classes and none of that. But I'm not gonna give my whole life story, but I'm just give it to her like my school. It started 8th grade. I was just messing up, suspended. I got expelled from elementary school. And went to my freshman year. I never did this before. It's new. I got it. All right, so a little bit about my personal life. I didn't grow up with my dad. My mom, she wasn't the best mom. I have 8 brothers, 6 sisters. Didn't really talk to any of them. The ones I did talk to were my brothers, but they weren't a good role model. They would do things like, they're always getting locked up. They would never do this. At the age I was, they were locked up. Every birthday, they were locked up. I was basically following their footsteps, and I seen what made me really change, because 8th grade, I was a bad student, wasn't good. 9th grade, I wasn't good. Suspension. I was gonna get put on probation for petty theft, and I took community service and all that at a rehab center, and I didn't like it. And then what made me really change was getting a letter from my brother, because I got 3 brothers right now who are locked up. He's in prison. I don't think he's ever getting out. He told me that he doesn't want me to be like them. And my mom, like 9th grade, she basically just went out my life. She moved to Oregon, then Vegas, then Oregon, then Vegas again. And nobody really stepped up. Well, I always had someone there, my godmom and my Nino. But my dad, he lived down the street from me, never talked to me. My brothers, the ones who were out, they never cared for me, because they thought I was going to be a mess up. My whole family thought I was going to be a mess up. And sophomore year, we came out here to Hemet. I moved. My mind wasn't, I'm going to make it these credits, graduate on time. It was just me, I was going to drop out. And then, sorry. And they had a really big talk with me or whatever, told me, and my god sister, I'm not the only one who was bad in school. Like, my whole family was. I think I'm gonna be the first to graduate from a real high school. My brothers graduated from JO Juvenile Hall. Well, they didn't even, you can't get your high school diploma, you get your GED, and that's what they got. But I turned my school life around toward, like, my sophomore year. And I went to Alessandro, Mr. Malley, and I still was messing up, and that's when I walked out of class, and my teacher, Mr. Cole, he set up a parent meeting, and that's right there was when I changed. They basically told me everything. They told me it's not too late to graduate on time, and but what really made me change was seeing my godmom cry, because all I would do is lie to her and tell her I'm doing good. They were proud of me or whatever, thinking I made up the credits, but I never did. I even had, you can't get F's at Alessandro, but you could get D's, and that's what I had. And from that meeting, seeing her cry, it made me change. I got good grades at Alessandro, and from there, I talked to my counselor. I told him, I was like, because I had heard about Apex, and I talked to my counselor, and he told me, he was like, well, I don't know. He was like, it was basically usually for the good kids. And he sent me this form, and it had to get signed by all my teachers. And they agreed with it. So I took it back to him, took Apex. I made up a lot of credits on Apex. And then I got Alessandro, you could get a max to 7 credits in your classes. And I got that. But it wasn't even my sophomore year. It was towards the last 2 months of my junior year, I made up all the credits. I think it was 93 credits. And I got my first ever high school award from my teacher, Mr. Cole, Alessandro. He was a history teacher. My first ever high school, middle school reward. And it wasn't a real reward, it was just a reward, because he said that he named it a fighter's name, and then he put reward, like, I guess because I fought through battles, and at the end I came out strong. Yeah. Oh, and now I'm currently I'm at Talkwitz High School. I'm on the football team, and I still have good grades.
I just want to say that I'm very proud of him, and if it wasn't for coming to Hemet, we were from San Bernardino, and Hemet had made a big old change in him. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for having us here.
All right, I think it's Dr. Farkas up next, Hamilton High School. Come on up.
So good morning, and thanks for having us. I'm up here representing my team here, Team Michaela, and I'd like to first introduce Michaela and her mom and Mrs. Kleinwachter. She's the nominating teacher. Fittingly, on the way in, I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about an NFL player that basically gave up his year's salary to put it into the youth programs in his city and to invest back into education. And I see that not only with Principal Dahlstrom's message about finding a path for every student and investing in unique situations and trying to get everybody a chance to succeed no matter where they come from and what their course is, and also what you do here today and every month, investing in our students with your sponsorships and your recognition of these stories of perseverance. Michaela's she doesn't live real close to the school, so she has to put a little effort in to get to school on time every day, and she does it in a fantastic way. Her year and her career at Hamilton's been challenging because she pushes herself. When we introduced the opportunity for her to be recognized from Mrs. K's AP class, she said, "Yeah, we'll see." I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Well, I have 3 AP classes in the morning, so I'm not sure I can make the awards program." She was the first student we've had that I was actually afraid she wasn't going to show up because she was going to go to class. So I had last month's student, another young lady, fantastic young lady, explain to her a little bit more because I felt like I wasn't telling her about the program the right way. So So she did a good job, and of course, she made it, and we're very proud of Michaela. So I'm going to step aside and let her nominating teacher, her AP teacher, Miss Kleinwachter, talk about Michaela.
Good morning. My name is Ms. Kleinwachter, and I nominated Michaela because she's one of those students that takes the responsibility. You give her a challenge, and she steps up and completes it. Even when other people step aside or shirk off the responsibility, she stays with it. I won't ruin her story. There's challenges that she's been through in her life, and she continues to help others overcome challenges. One of the things that she's been quite involved in is the Teens Against Tobacco Use Prevention Education. I know students came down and helped clean up Hemet parks, and because of that, legislation was passed down here. She also goes over to the elementary school and makes a great impact on the younger students to keep them from using drugs or tobacco or alcohol. Also, she's taken every AP course that Hamilton High School offers, and so I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm very, very proud of Michaela, and I'll turn it over to her to tell you her story.
Hi, as they said, I'm Michaela. Sorry. I want to thank Miss Kay for nominating me, and I'll start with my story. Well, like kindergarten, they basically said I would never be able to read. And they didn't find out until I was in first grade that I had a learning disability. So basically what it meant is I would see words and numbers, but I wasn't able to comprehend them. So they would just be random squiggles on a paper. And my mom actually took me to different doctors and specialists, and I did different kinds of brain training and eye training, and I struggled through elementary school and middle school. I mean, I passed, but I mean, D's were passing, so it was kind of like, oh, well, I guess we've just got to push her through because I don't want to deal with her another year. And it wasn't until I got to Hamilton that I actually started doing really well. I mean, 8th grade, I switched schools and I started doing well, but Hamilton, I really started to push myself. I took honors classes, higher level classes, AP classes, and I just kept pushing myself every year. Like, for example, this year, I was scared to take AP Calculus. Like, I mean scared. I looked at my friends, I was like, this is a mistake. Why are we here? We're all gonna fail this class. And surprisingly, right now, I'm doing pretty well, and I'm actually enjoying the class because it's not really math, it's more like foreign language, but it's challenging me, and I do enjoy it. And then Ms. Kay was saying, I'm very involved in my school, and that's something I take pride in. I played on the basketball team, the volleyball team. I'm in Interact, ASB, CSF, NHS, plus Tattoo, kind of all around the school at this point. And I go to all the football games. And I really enjoy it because I just enjoy supporting my fellow students and encouraging them. Because that's something I've always had from my mom. She's encouraged me, and I like to share that with others. And in my future, I hope to be able to do that in a much larger scale than just high school. Thank you.
Just real quick, I'd like to say how proud I am, which any mom would be. And I'm also going to pat myself on the back, too. I've done a darn good job. And I also want to thank Dr. Fargus. I remember her freshman year, she was choosing between Hemet High and Hamilton, and she chose Hamilton. And we've had the 4 greatest years at Hamilton. The faculty, it's just been absolutely wonderful. They've just done a hell of a job with my daughter, and I thank you.
Just for clarification, tattoo is not a course we offer, it's a club. Yeah, okay, yeah. Teens Against Tobacco. I love when Miss Kay says that too, because everyone always says, what? We already heard about the connection in our district about how we can grab on to at-risk students and help them get back into the program. And we learned that about Alessandro Tutakwitz with our young superstar. So now we are going to introduce another superstar from Alessandro, and led by Principal Tara O'Malley.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here. Once again, thank you all for coming out to support our awesome students, and especially thank you for the sponsors for making this event happen. I feel like I have two students here. I feel like I'm hogging the honors here with being able to recognize so many people. Thank goodness Joseph wasn't still at Alessandro because we would have had a knockdown, drag-out fight on deciding who was going to be our Student of the Month. We get to nominate two throughout the course of the year, and actually it was a pretty easy decision. When we meet as a staff and when we started talking about what makes a student to be recognized for this really, really esteemed honor, Raisha just jumped to the top. Not only is she doing an outstanding job with her academics, but she is such a leader. The climate on our campus is, I hope, and I invite everyone and anyone to come to our campus, and I hope you can feel it as soon as you come on campus, the support and the hope and the encouragement that the students, not only the staff give to the students, but the students give to the staff. And so much of that is attributed to you, Raisha. She's involved in the Plus Club, Plus activity. And yesterday they had a unity forum, and she's not only participating in that, but she's a big part of the organization. She's always looking out for our other students to make our school more successful so that all students can succeed. So I brought with us Ken Messenger. He is Raisha's nominating teacher because he is her advisory teacher, and he has the honor of being able to tell a little bit about her career plans. All right, Ken.
Good morning. My name is Ken Messenger. I am Raisha's advisory teacher, and this year I'm her senior government teacher. So I've known her since she was a junior, and when she started my advisory, she was a bit shy, quiet, apprehensive about being in a new school. But over the time, I watched her develop. I watched her leadership skills come out. And I can tell you how incredible it is seeing a teenager take control and becoming a leader on campus. It makes me proud to know that Hemet and California are in the hands of young people like Raisha. So from that, I think I'll let her tell her story. So I'd like to introduce you to Raisha Blaylock.
Hi, I'm Raisha Blaylock, and I have my mother here and my brother. Since an early age, I've been the type to pretty much give up, and I was always quiet in school. Started third grade. In the third grade, my teacher had a conference with my mother, and I gave up, and I didn't really read well and stuff, and he told my mother that I was going to have to be in special ed. And so she went home and talked to me, and we started reading books, and I started getting better. She's actually my role model. I mean, she went to school with me and my brother, only being young. I have my dad at home. He did help out, but she went back to school and went to school for medical, and that motivated me to do better in school. And ever since then, I've been a B student. Then I had, in sixth grade, we didn't have a home. We were kind of homeless. And I saw my mom and dad struggle, and I knew I didn't want to go through that. And so that made me better and made me get better in my work and stuff. And I did kind of give up then too. But I know you got to keep striving. And then my freshman year, after that, I was a B student, got back on my work pretty good. Freshman year is where I messed up. You know, early first year of high school, you kind of mess up, you know. And I gave up, and I got into being with a bad group of students, and I didn't hang with the right crowd, and I kind of messed up my credits and stuff. I was a C student. Back where I'm from Dallas, Texas. You have to have a C in order to pass. You can't have a D. And so I was a C student. That was bad for me, though, because I was always a B student. And then we moved after my freshman year, and we moved to Hemet. That was the biggest move, and I just is so much different from down south. It's way easier. We don't really get homework or anything like that. So imagine school with no homework. But so it was easier to pass. And I came here and I was like, I told my mom, I told my dad, I was like, I'm giving up. I'm thinking I'm gonna drop out. I'm done with school. I can't do it. California is pretty hard. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm never gonna get offered. Back home, I used to get offered scholarships or have these type of meetings too. And I was like, I'm never gonna get that again. Like, I'm not gonna make it. And so I went through sophomore year. I didn't do any work in high school at all whatsoever. I just was sitting in class every day. And I did that pretty much my 11th grade year. Going back into school, I was like, I have to pass, you know, I have to do something about this. So I did kind of get my work done or whatever, but still wasn't the homework, the extracurriculum classes and all that. It wasn't for me. And I talked to my counselor and I was like, I need to do better. I have to get right back on track. I need something to do. What can I do? What schools can I go to? Is it Helen Hunt, Alessandro? And I got hooked up with Alessandro. And when I got there, I was like, okay, this is my chance to redeem myself and make it out of here. So I went back and I did what I was supposed to. And I remember the first day I came, not the first day, but like a week into my 11th grade year, I asked Ken, I was like, can I do anything about scholarships? Like, what can I get into? And he was like, well, I think you have to be a senior before we get everything started. And I was like, that was a bummer for me. I wanted to get started pretty early because I wanted to get back on track. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll wait. And I'm honored to be here today. And I thank everyone. I thank all the sponsors and everyone for having me here. Thank you.
I'm glad you get to follow her.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Young. I'm Raisha's mom. Like she said, thank everybody for sponsoring this for our children. Basically, anytime I can see an educator come in and really turn on that bulb for a child when they're going through something at home, you never know what a person may be going through, and she doesn't know how proud I am of her for watching me. Even though I struggled, we went through things. Her father and I decided to move to Hemet, California. This is our native. We took our children away. This is her younger brother, Billy Way. We took them away from their native, which is Dallas, Texas. Like she said, it was a lot different. Soon as third grade came, they said, oh no, she's gonna be in special ed classes. She doesn't read at her level. And I seen that light then, it clicked in her. She looked at me, she said, Mom, no, I'm not. And ever since then, she's just been skyrocketing for me, and it's been such a joy and overwhelming to me because some of the things that she would like, she said we would go through different things, and me and Dad would go through things, and she still would come home and be in her books, even in the dark sometime. And once we moved to Hemet, she did tell me, she said, Mom, I'm going to give up. And my thing as a mother was like, all this that you've done and you come from, you can take your education anywhere, and that's what I want any of you, all of you students to know. You can take it anywhere. That's something nobody can never take from you. And I'm thank Miss O'Malley and Ken for seeing that light in my daughter and getting her back on the right track, because I, as a parent, thought I lost her. And that's the worst thing in the world, is to feel like you've lost your child when you know what they're capable of. So I am so proud of you. I'm honored to be here to represent you. You've always been a leader. You don't know how much you make me. Sometimes I don't even want to get out of bed. And when I come home from work, I work third shift. She's already out the door. She's already had her homework done, and I have no problems with her. I thank you guys so much. I'm getting choked up. I've been crying ever since she told me about this, and I told her I wasn't going to do this standing there washing clothes the other day, and I knew I would. But thank you guys so much for honoring my child. Thank you so much.
As I introduce the next person, go ahead, you can be seated. Just want to mention, Raisha's plans are to go to UCLA. She's talking about being, I'm encouraging her to be an attorney. Any lawyers in the house? Yeah. Okay, I figured you have some people to talk to. All right, it's my honor to introduce our next award winner, represented by the San Jacinto High School Principal Luke Smith.
Good morning. Thank you again for the stories. Again, last year we were at the beginning, and I mentioned it last time. Now we get to sit and listen to all the stories, and I'm almost like worked up myself. I'm like, man, I'm starting to break. Okay, we're going up next. Bring it together. But I'm very, very proud to be here representing San Jacinto High School, and our Student of the Month, Felicity Dorn, who's here with her brother and her father, and her nominating teacher, Miss Gibson. And when I sent out the nominations and I get the stories back, and right away Miss Gibson was writing, I saw the subject line. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, how long are you going to write about it? And what got me, and I'm like, okay, I don't think I can say no, was at the end, she's like, Felicity has 2 perfectly working kidneys, but I will give her one of mine if I had to. and so she's an AP and IB student. She's part of our academic decathlon team. I was looking at, yesterday we had our awards assembly, and she came down, got a gold medal for her grades last year. And I was looking it up, and I think you got a B+ once in your whole career. And I'm like, what the heck happened there? But everything else has been phenomenal. But what really got to me was just that's the surface level of what we would look at if we were only looking at a transcript, or you're only looking at how they perform in a class. It's what she does for her family really spoke to me. What she does beyond just her schoolwork spoke to me, and Ms. Gibson will describe a little bit more about that and the dedication that she has. But again, we're so proud to have Felicity here as our Student of the Month, and Bethany Gibson as her nominating teacher.
So yeah, as soon as I got that email, I immediately, students set to their warm-up, and I immediately wrote a small essay because I couldn't stop talking about Felicity. She moves like a shadow. She's so quiet in class. It's so interesting. I've had the privilege of having her in class for 3 years now, and seeing her blossom and develop into a scholar and an academic, and she's a voracious writer. She has an incredible imagination. She's so profound. She chooses her words wisely, and in a world that is so loud, it is incredible to watch my 17-year-old seniors, a hush falls over the crowd, and that is impossible to do in high school. Myself, a hush falls over the crowd when she speaks, because they know when Felicity speaks, something's going down. And so it is my pleasure to see her here today and to stand beside her as her teacher. And she panicked when she got here. She's like, Miss Gibson, I wrote a speech, I didn't write a story. And I'm like, you're going to be amazing. So let's give it up for Felicity.
Hi. So, I'm Felicity, obviously. Sorry. I'm not good at this sort of thing because I get really nervous. But with me here, obviously, is my dad, my teacher, my principal, and my brother. And I just want to thank all of you for being here and for listening to me, even though I'll probably just ramble. But yeah, everyone was telling their stories, and you all have such amazing stories. And I was like, I wrote a speech because I thought we were supposed to write a speech. So I guess I'll just start that speech then. It's strange standing here in front of all of you because I've never liked to stand out. I tended to avoid the limelight, like whenever possible, because meeting new people, that's horrifying. And then giving public speeches, that's absolutely petrifying. But I've always been like this. I've always been shy. I've been scared to speak up. There was even a point when I was afraid to talk to my teachers. And it was really hard because when I didn't understand something in class, I couldn't ask them because I was too scared. And I couldn't ask any of my peers because asking them was even scarier. So I would just sit there wondering what exactly I'm supposed to do. And I would waste so much time trying to figure out what that was. And then I'd waste even more time questioning anything I came up with. And then I finally decided, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. So I waited until the very end of class and until every single other student left that classroom. And then I very hesitantly approached my teacher and asked my question. They answered me, and I realized, this isn't that bad. And it was then that I really learned you can't be afraid to speak up, even if it is scary. And that's something I want to take with me through college, through life because it's through speaking up that I've become more involved at school. And I realized the more involved you become, whether it's school clubs and associations or volunteer work in the community, or just spending more time outside of school with family and friends, your world, it doesn't only seem to become bigger, it becomes brighter. And I realized that's something I really enjoy. It made me realize I can give back to the community in small ways, and I know I want to keep doing that. After I graduate and after I graduate college, I want to come back to communities. I want to share my story instead of a speech, like now, and inspire and teach other people what they can do and how they can succeed. And that's one of the reasons why I plan to be an author. I want to write. I don't just want to spin fantastical tales that make people cry and laugh. I want to inspire people to dream, and not only dream, but reach those dreams and even beyond. Because like my amazing teacher, Miss Gibson, has inspired me with her kind words, or my brother with his constant encouragement, or my dad with his strange belief that I can do any and everything, and my principal who spurs me on with recognition and a pat on the back when it seems like no one else notices my efforts. I just want to give that to someone else. So again, I want to say thank you to all of you for being here and to all of our sponsors here, because this really means a lot to me. That's it.
Great, thank you. Next, we'd like to call on down Ken Swanson and Mountain View High School.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for having us here. Mountain View High School is proud to be here once again. I'm going to jump over and let Ms. Lee tell you all about Ramon. He's a wonderful young man, and I'll wrap it up at the end for you. And I've got an update for you, so you always love my updates. So here you go. Let Ms. Lee, our fabulous math teacher at Mountain View.
Hi. As he said, I'm Miss Lee. I'm Karen Lee, and I teach math at Mountain View High School. I would like to say I'm extremely proud, I'm going to cry, and touched. Ramon was nominated by about 7 teachers. We all wanted Ramon to come, and Ramon actually asked me to come and speak for him, so I'm not going to cry. But thank you, Ramon. As most of our students arrive at Mountain View, Ramon was quite deficient in his credits, and he had a sort of dislike of the whole education process. But as we watched him take the belief in himself, as we talked to him and made sure he understood, and we got involved in his life, you could see Ramon go, I can do this. I know how to do this. I can graduate. I'm good, and I understand. We have a sustainable living process, aquaponics and gardening at our school. Ramon was a major force in getting that started. He could go out there, we just send him out there and say, go build this, go put this together, and he would go, and he had it was just fabulous to watch him. Miss France said, I could always trust him to go to the sustainable living area and do what was needed to be done. He always had a smile on his face. It was fascinating to watch him go out there. He's like, yeah, I'll do it, and he was smiling and gone. One time in our math class, we were working on problems, and Ramon was a little frustrated. And funnily, I could see the light dawn. And Ramon said to me, and I will never forget this, Miss Lee, you have unleashed the dragon. I understand. I will finish this course in a couple of weeks. And he did. And he did it well. And he has taken on his education at Mountain View in every class in that format. He will be a graduate this week? Next week. He's going to graduate from us next week. And as I said, all of us are extremely proud of him. And here's Ramon.
All right, well, I'm Ramon. And I wish I would have memorized the whole thing, but I'm not that good. And it was I did it last minute, but here's my speech. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ramon Vasquez, and I currently attend Mountain View High School. It's a great honor and privilege to be able to join each and every one of you. With me, I have my mom, Laura Tencio, my aunt, Vivian Yepes, my wonderful math teacher, Miss Lee, and my principal, Mr. Swanson. Being at Mountain View for 2 years has helped me out a lot, from daily trials to trials I'll face in life. One of the main lessons I learned was that no matter how far off track you are for anything, in my case credits, you can always accomplish your goal. But that is if you want it and if you really set your mind to it. All right. I'm not good at this stuff. Growing up was a little rough. I was back and forth from different schools, getting myself into trouble with like certain people that I chose to hang out with. They weren't a positive crowd, you know. And one thing that really set me off track was in 2012, my one of my older brothers was he was arrested, and it was a big charge. But when that happened, all my depression turned to anger, and I started getting in trouble with the law. Little by little, it became more often that I was in trouble with the law. It soon came to the point to where I was on the run for a couple months. April 6th of 2015, which was my mom's birthday, I was caught by the police and sent to juvenile hall, facing almost 4 years for different charges that I put on myself. I was in for a few months and luckily got out and moved with my aunt. I started my sophomore year at San Jacinto High School and didn't take one bit of it serious. Junior year came about and I started at Mountain View because of the fact that I was behind on so many credits, all the way from my freshman year. And now I'm here completing more than enough credits and finishing high school early. If there's one thing that anybody takes home with them, let it be this. Never give up, and when times get hard, then you be a warrior and push even harder. And I promise you will not be disappointed in yourself as I was before I started Mountain View. As for me in the future, I plan to attend California State University of Channel Islands in Camarillo. I plan to major in business so that one day I may be able to own a business myself in the San Jacinto Valley and give back to the community just like you're doing today. I want to thank all the sponsors for making this event possible. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to be here with you. I truly appreciate it, and thank you again.
Hi, good morning. First off, I just want to say how very proud I am of my son. He's been through a lot of heartache, and some very hard things that he's had to deal with in his life at a young age, but that only made him stronger. He didn't let that break him. Instead, he is accomplishing things and exceeding all expectations that anybody could have. My son is my fourth oldest of all my children, but the first to graduate in my family, making us all very proud. He is a role model to all his brothers and sisters, and is not only graduating, but he's graduating early. And him receiving this award is just more recognition he so deserves. As we all know, we're our own worst critic. And even though he doesn't show it, life can be hard sometimes, but I'll tell you one thing, he doesn't ever give up. I'm so proud of the young man that he has become and the bright future that he has before him. This accomplishment is only his beginning, and I can't wait to see what his future holds. I love you, and I'm proud of you.
Okay. Hi, I'm a little bit. Hi, my name's Vivian. I'm Ramon's aunt. He's been staying with us for a few years now, so I'm nervous too. I just would like to say congratulations to my nephew Ramon for receiving this award and accomplishing so much in the last few years. Ramon has been through a lot throughout his lifetime, but giving up was not an option for him. He always kept on pushing and reaching his goal, and for that I am so proud of him. We've always taught Ramon he can do anything he sets his mind to. I should have wrote it down and not put it on my own. He could say, okay, oh my gosh. We've always taught Ramon he can do anything he set his mind to. He went from having straight F's to having A's and B's and receiving Student of the Month, and even getting all his credits in finishing school early. Again, I just want to say, Ramon, we are super proud of you. Congratulations, and we love you.
So the work that we do in education is hard work and it's heart work. And the reason why our kids do so well is the love that our teachers put into them on a regular basis. So big thank you to our teachers, big thank you to everybody who works at the school. And it's not just our teachers, it's our classified staff, it's our custodians, our lunch ladies. And the kids succeed when they know that people care about them and love them, because kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Okay, and I do want to put out big thank yous out there to our business community last night. So Mountain View High School runs 3 programs. We run an independent study. We also run an adult education program. And last night was our first ever adult education career fair. So big thanks to our community members that did come out. The college came out. Thank you, Mount San Jacinto, Hemet Unified HR, San Jacinto HR, AMR Ambulance Service, Eastern Municipal Water District. We had so many people come out. I was so very thankful. Beaumont came down to share their nursing program. These are opportunities for our people in our community, and I want to thank everybody. Next year when we have this, all my business owners out there, please consider coming on down to Mountain View in the evening and share with people what you have for job opportunities in this valley. Inspire our kids to come and work for you, or maybe they'll be the next entrepreneurs. And Ramon wants to have his own clothing company here in this town, and that will be amazing. So I'm on my soapbox, but thank you very much. Update, Zach Weir. Zach Weir graduated. Zach Weir's off to beautiful things. You'll see him at Mount San Jacinto very soon. He's already set to go. And without further ado, Karina. Come on back up.
I just want to tell the students we're so very proud of you. Honestly, you guys have taught me to never give up and persevere. And actually, I had a story this week, and I think some adults in this room had a story where they felt like giving up and not moving forward. And then I think, I can't give up. These kids never give up, and they do all these great things, but I really wanted to. I didn't want to move forward, and I did it. I wanted to stop myself because everybody was telling me that I shouldn't and I couldn't. And long story short, I did, and it was successful. And I thank you guys for sharing your story, because it does a lot to the adults in the room. You guys think you guys are young and you guys have no voice out, but everything you come and say here and how you show your perseverance and the outcome, the struggles that we all go through in this room, we all have them. And sometimes we'll see people and we think, gosh, I wish I had those parents, or gosh, I wish I had that perfect life or those perfect kids. There's no such thing. We just don't know about it. And you guys sharing your story and talking to other students and loving them and helping them, and the stories that you guys have given today, it's just more motivation for everyone else to move forward. So thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Another round of applause for our Student of the Month.